Flosstube, I'm Michelle and this is my romantic tangle, and I have been finishing things that I just cannot wait to show you. It is, I wrote it down and I still can't remember in my head what it is. It is Sunday, September 6th. I am so ready for Halloween. I started watching horror movies yesterday and I've been working on projects. I finished Plague Nurse. It is rare that something with a time frame to it, I finished within that time frame. She's a 2020 pattern and I got her done in 2020. I adore this. I love the way it looks kind of antique and Victorian, and I love the wallpaper and her beads, and I love the subtle appearance that the DMC in different colors gives to it. And really the stripes on her dress, those pick up way better on the camera than my eyes pick it up when I'm just stitching her. So I might actually frame this. And then after I was done with her, I finished Spooky Stitching. It is from the 2019 Just Cross Stitch Halloween issue. I had been procrastinating on this one because I didn't think I'd like the orange. This shade of orange is not my thing, and I can't remember the exact colors. 720, 721, the pattern called for one, and I had the other handy, so I did substitute that because I figured they had to be close. I didn't like pull the color card and look at it or anything. The orange against those black stitches, the way it pops, I was squealing over this. I have got so many favorite things right now. And I think I'm going to finish this into something too. And then there's the other finish, and I don't know how to explain the other finish because when I filmed that last Flosstube video, I really thought that I was going to put it aside and never finish it. And then I sat down with it and Caledonian Sky is done. Look at that. Is that not fabulous? What was I not stitching this for? I can tell you. I was stitching it in hand, and this is a weird shape of fabric. So when I started, I had it all rolled up, and I'm left-handed, so I was stitching from the left, and this worked well. This worked well. By the time I got about 2/3 of the way through, it wasn't working so well because I had all this hanging off the edge. After I told you that I didn't want to stitch on this anymore, it occurred to me I could pull it across my Q-snaps, and I didn't have to stitch it in hand. That made it so much easier. There's a mistake here somewhere because I was worried about my outline matching up since I didn't grid my fabric, so I did the tree. And I did some partial gridding, and somewhere I counted wrong, so the bottom line here and the bottom line here were not matching up, so I just did another strip of the dark purple because I was not frogging. The comments I got about this, thank you guys for being so supportive. One of the questions I should have written down who asked it was, would I frame it and hang it on the wall? That is a great way to evaluate whether or not you should finish a project, but I never frame anything. I have framed 3 or 4 projects in lots of years of stitching. So the answer would have been no. Now that I know what it looks like, if I ever get my gallery wall, I am totally framing this. It'll be a thrift store frame cut down to the right size, and I don't do professional framing. I can see myself getting this framed and framing this with a thrifted frame, doing it on the cheap, and hanging it on my wall because I like this. And the morning after I finished this, I was going to pick up my son from work, and going into town, the mountains were banded like this purple shading, and I hit the sunrise just right, so the sky was banded like this, and I'm taking that as a sign that, yeah, I was supposed to stitch this. It feels better to have it done than it would to walk away from it. And the other comment I got was that I had so many other things I could be stitching on. Maybe I should be working on them instead. That one I totally agree with. And I was going to go with that philosophy, except something happened and I didn't go with that philosophy. Too many years of speech therapy. So I spent a couple of days stitching on nothing but this, and then I had that lost feeling that you get when you finish a project and don't know quite what's next. And I was gonna pull out Mad Bluebird and work on that, but I got into the bag where I have all my smaller projects stored, and the acceptance sampler was on top, and somehow I decided, hey, maybe I should start working on that border, because if I ever want to have this thing done, I've got to do the border. I was afraid of this border. I mean, I don't have any confidence that these are going to match up when I get down to that other corner. I also, with the subject matter of this sampler and the way the world is going on right now, if it doesn't fit, I'll make it fit. I'm not worried about it. I love this border. I'm doing it in one color instead of the way that Bendy Stitchy had it charted, because I'm ornery, and for some reason when I pulled this out to start stitching it, the little voices in my head said this needed to be one color. I love this. I hate the fabric. It's that thrifted super linen or whatever it is, and it is just icky. It's really uneven, and it has lots of slubs, and I'm not... Over 2 on linen is not part of my usual skill set, so I have been fighting it like crazy, but I think I'm going to work on this till it's done. Now that I said that, I will pick up something else and work on that, because that is apparently the way that it works in my world. And last video I showed you the shawl. It still looks the same, but there's more of it. And it's scrunched up on my needles, so this is what I needed. I had gone a couple of months barely knitting, and this is... It broke the curse. I pick it up, I can do half a row while we're watching TV and put it down, and it's fiddly enough to keep my mind a little bit occupied, but easy enough that I can knit it without thinking hard about it. So it's going to take a million years. I am in no hurry. I have another shawl that I actually want to cast on, so then I'll alternate between this and that. That will be more complicated, but not much more complicated. And remember how in my last Flosstube video I said I wasn't going to buy any more yarn after the Hobby Lobby sale, and then I wasn't going to buy any more yarn after the Neighbor's Estate sale, but I mentioned that if I went to the thrift store and someone had donated their collection of kits, that I wasn't going to pass them by. I went to the thrift store, there was a collection of kits, the previous video shows them off. Kind of had a feeling that I shouldn't say I'm not, and I'm saying again that I'm not buying. I'm buying very selectively right now, but if I find another collection of kits, I'm not skipping them just because Hobby Lobby had a sale. And Mom went to the Hobby Lobby in Bend, so there's more yarn headed my way. I also found this at the thrift store. I'm still confused, still speechless, still not sure what I am going to do with a 2/3 stitch and abandoned mid-Amish life. Because I want to stitch this, but I want to stitch it myself, and the mystery stitcher who came before me did all the fun parts. There was no pattern, it was just this. And when I spotted it at the thrift store, it was folded up in a Ziploc bag, and all that was visible was this. I saw it, I was going to look closer at it, something distracted me, and I forgot it until I was editing my thrifting video. And then it was a week till I could get back to the thrift store. And when I got there, it was still in its bag, but had been refolded to look like this. So, a mid-Amish life sat in the thrift store for at least a week that I know of, priced at 99 cents. And I know someone picked it up and looked at it. Who could leave this behind? Honestly, who could abandon this? I don't think it's at all possible, but that estate sale I went to back in December that had all of the Wysocki and Dimensions Gold collection stuff, they said the leftovers were going to that particular thrift store, so has it been somehow been kicking around in their inventory all this time? More likely it was someone else, but this is my happy thrift store find of the week. And in case you hadn't seen the other video, I thought I would share it because it's a mid-Amish life. That's not one of my unicorns because I already have the pattern, but one of my bucket list things I have to stitch. Like I said, I am getting excited about Halloween. I have started watching horror movies. I had a Redbox coupon yesterday, so I watched You Should Have Left, which was not that great, and Ready or Not, which is the hide and go seek with the new bride one that came out a while back. That was way more fun than I thought it would be. And while this is uploading tonight, I've got Fantasy Island recorded on the DVR, even though I've heard that that is horrible. Maybe I can listen to it while I'm stitching away on that border. My husband and I went to the movies last week, and that sounds horrible, doesn't it? But the reality of going to the movies last week was we were the only couple in the large auditorium except for one other couple at the far end, so we must have been 60 feet apart. I don't think there were any safety no safety fears there at all. And when we got to the movie theater, the parking lot was totally empty. If it had been full, we wouldn't have gone in. We're making choices based on what is going on at that time. I found out my favorite thrift store just reopened, and I really want to go, but the day I'm going up to go shopping for groceries is tomorrow, and typically on holidays they have their half-price book sale at that thrift store, which I don't know if they'll be doing now, or if that will make it busy, and I may wait. I may drive through the parking lot and see what the situation looks like. Because I really, since we don't have the library, I really need some books to fill in gaps in my homeschooling schedule. And this not having a library is not working at all. There is curbside pickup, but it takes months to get a book. And that is if the book is already on the library shelf. And do I have a boy coming in with a snake? No snakes for once, just a kid. Thank you for watching. I am Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon.